Before we begin, a critical disclaimer. The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only, and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I am not a medical doctor. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have seen in this presentation. The experiences shared here are anecdotal and individual results may vary significantly. Imagine for a second that you've tried everything. And I mean everything. You've done the low-carb, the no-carb, the cabbage soup diet. You've counted the calories, tracked the macros, and weighed your chicken breast down to the gram. You've bought the gym membership, hired the trainer, woken up at 5 a.m. for punishing cardio sessions that left you exhausted, but didn't move the needle on the scale. You felt that familiar sinking feeling of frustration when you step on the scale after a week of being perfect, only to see it hasn't budged. Or worse, it's gone up. You feel defeated. You feel like your own body is working against you. Then you start hearing the whispers. It starts with a celebrity who suddenly looks impossibly lean on the red carpet. The tabloids are buzzing. Then your coworker mentions a friend of a friend who lost 40 pounds without even trying. Suddenly it's everywhere. A name that sounds like it's from the future. Wegovy. A once-a-week injection. A little pen that holds what sounds like a miracle. The promise isn't just weight loss. It's the promise of an off-switch for the constant, nagging hunger. The food noise, as they call it. The endless internal debate about what to eat, when to eat, and why you just ate that. Wegovy promises to silence it all. Sounds too good to be true. And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Is it? That's why you're here. You're tired of the noise. On one side, you have the glossy commercials with smiling, happy people effortlessly living their best lives. On the other, you have the terrifying news headlines about stomach paralysis and other horror stories. Who do you believe? The marketing machine, or the media scare machine? The truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle. And the only way to find it is to go directly to the source, the real people in their real lives who are using this drug right now. That is our mission in this video. We are cutting through all the hype and all the fear to bring you the most comprehensive, unfiltered look at what it's really like to be on Wegovy. We've spent hundreds of hours digging through thousands of reviews, forum posts, and personal testimonials from across the United States. We're going to explore the good, the bad, and everything in between. We'll talk about the life-changing weight loss, the moments of pure joy when clothes start fitting again. We'll also talk about the side effects, the ones you expect, and the ones that might surprise you. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the cost, the insurance battles, and the social weirdness of turning down food at a family dinner. By the end of this, you won't just know about Wegovy. You'll understand the lived experience. You will have the information you need to have a truly informed conversation with your doctor. So let's start at the very beginning, the day the prescription gets filled. For so many people, this moment is a cocktail of emotions. There's the rush of hope, the feeling that this finally might be the tool that works. But there's also a healthy dose of fear. It's an injection after all. People describe sitting there, staring at the little gray pen, their heart pounding. They've read the instructions a dozen times. They've watched the YouTube tutorials. They pinch the skin on their stomach or thigh, take a deep breath, press the button, and wait for the second click. And then it's done. Many are surprised by how anticlimactic it is. The needle is tiny, and most say they barely feel a thing. But the physical sensation isn't the main event. It's what happens over the next 24 to 48 hours that marks the real beginning of the journey. The drug Semaglutide starts to go to work. Now, to understand what users are feeling, you have to understand what the drug is doing. In the simplest terms, Wegovy mimics a natural hormone in your body called GLP-1. Think of GLP-1 as your body's natural satisfaction signal. After you eat, this hormone tells your brain, "Hey, we're good down here, you can stop eating now." It also slows down how quickly your stomach empties. Wegovy essentially cranks the volume on that signal way up. It's like going from a polite suggestion to a bouncer at the door of your stomach saying, "Sorry, we're full. No more entry." The first thing almost every user reports is the silencing of the food noise. This is a concept that people who haven't struggled with their weight might find hard to grasp. But for those who have, it's a revelation. Food noise is the constant, running commentary in your brain about food. It's planning your next meal while you're still eating your current one. It's the obsessive craving for a cookie you saw in the break room 3 hours ago. It's the mental battle of "I shouldn't, but I want to." Just one bite. It is exhausting. And according to a vast majority of reviews, Wegovy just turns it off. One user on Reddit described it this way. It's like I had a TV on in my head, on a 24/7 food channel my entire life. I didn't even realize it was there until the day after my first shot, when I woke up and it was just quiet. For the first time, there was silence. This is the single most commonly reported positive effect, and it often happens within the first couple of days. People find they can walk past a plate of donuts without a second thought. They can open the fridge, grab a bottle of water, and close it without taking a mental inventory of everything else inside. This newfound freedom is often described as more liberating than the weight loss itself. With the food noise gone, the next major change is a dramatic reduction in appetite and a rapid onset of satiety, the feeling of being full. This is where things get real. People sit down for a normal-sized dinner, a meal they would have easily finished before, and find themselves completely stuffed after just a few bites. A single slice of pizza feels like they ate 3. A small salad is a full, satisfying meal. This is the stomach-slowing effect in action. The food is physically staying in the stomach longer, sending those "I'm full" signals for a prolonged period. This is the magic of the first few weeks. The weight starts to come off, and often it comes off quickly. 5, 10, even 15 pounds in the first month is not an uncommon story. Feels effortless because the internal struggle is gone. You're not fighting your own biology with sheer willpower anymore. You're simply not hungry. The positive reinforcement is immense. The scale is moving, clothes are looser, and you feel a sense of control you haven't felt in years. This is the honeymoon phase. But it's not always a completely smooth ride, even from the beginning. While the starting dose of 0.25 milligrams is designed to be low to let your body adjust, side effects are common. The most frequently reported issue right out of the gate is nausea. For some, it's a mild background queasiness that comes and goes. For others, it can be more intense, especially in the day or two after the injection. Users share their coping strategies: sniffing rubbing alcohol pads, sipping ginger tea, eating small, bland meals. It's a trade-off they're willing to make. As one person put it, a little nausea is a small price to pay for being free from the prison of food obsession. Fatigue is another common companion in those early days. A profound, bone-deep tiredness that can make getting through the workday a challenge. This is often linked to the simple fact that people are suddenly consuming far fewer calories. Their body is adjusting to a significant energy deficit. Hydration becomes non-negotiable, and many users stress the importance of drinking electrolytes to combat the lethargy. And then there are the other digestive adventures: heartburn, sulfur burps, constipation, or diarrhea. Because the drug fundamentally changes the speed and process of your digestion, your gut has to figure out a new normal. These are the details you won't see in the commercials. These are the real-life adjustments people are making as they embark on this journey. The first month is a period of rapid change, both physically and mentally. It's a time of incredible hope and excitement, punctuated by the often unpleasant reality of a powerful medication recalibrating your entire system. It's the beginning of a story, and for most, the early results are so compelling that they're more than willing to push through the initial discomfort, eager to see what the next month will bring. And that next month, for many, is where the true transformation begins to feel less like a temporary fix and more like a new reality. This is the period where the initial, sometimes jarring, side effects often begin to subside, and the primary effect of the medication takes center stage. Users describe it with a sense of wonder. They talk about the quiet. For the first time in years, maybe their entire adult lives, the constant nagging chatter in their brain about food, it just goes silent. One user on Reddit described it like this: I used to plan my entire day around meals. What I'd eat, when I'd eat it, what I'd eat after that. It was a constant negotiation. On month 2 of Wegovy, I literally forgot to eat lunch one day. I didn't forget because I was busy. I forgot because my body just didn't scream at me for it. I felt free. That feeling of freedom is a recurring theme. It's not about being forced to not eat. It's about being given the choice. The compulsion is gone. This is when the weight loss starts to become consistent and noticeable. The 5 pounds from the first month turns into 10, then 15. Clothes start to fit differently. The first time someone zips up a pair of jeans they haven't worn in 3 years is a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. It's a tangible sign that this is working. People start to notice. A coworker might say, "Hey, have you lost weight?" A family member comments on how great you look. These small affirmations become powerful fuel, reinforcing the difficult lifestyle changes you're making alongside the medication. because that's the key thing users stress. Wegovy isn't a magic wand you wave while sitting on the couch eating pizza. It's a tool. It's the ultimate enabler. It quiets the food noise so you can finally hear what your body actually needs. It reduces your appetite so you can make smarter choices without feeling like you're fighting a war against your own cravings. Users report that for the first time they can build healthy habits that stick. They start tracking calories not as a punishment but as a strategy. They start exercising not because they have to burn off a binge, but because they have more energy and feel better in their bodies. The medication handles the biological battle, freeing up your mental energy to focus on the behavioral one. One woman, a 45-year-old teacher from Ohio, shared her story. She said, "I knew what a healthy plate looked like. I wasn't ignorant. I could tell you the protein, carb, and fat content of 1,000 foods. But knowing and doing are two different universes. Before Wegovy, I'd eat a healthy salad for lunch, and then spend the next 3 hours thinking about the vending machine down the hall. After Wegovy, I eat the salad and I'm just done. I move on with my day. It gave me the power to actually implement the knowledge I already had. But this journey isn't a straight line down. Just as users get comfortable, just as they find their rhythm, the calendar flips. It's time to titrate up. The Wegovy protocol is designed to slowly increase the dosage over several months to minimize side effects. You start at 0.25 milligrams, then move to 0.5, then 1.0, 1.7, and finally the full maintenance dose of 2.4 milligrams. And each of those steps up can be like starting all over again. A common experience shared in forums is the dosage day dread. You feel great on 0.5 milligrams, the nausea is gone, the weight is coming off. Then you take your first 1.0 milligram shot and BAM. The next day the fatigue is back. The nausea returns. You feel bloated and uncomfortable. It can be incredibly disheartening. You think, I thought I was past this. It's a physiological reset. Your body has to reacclimate to a higher concentration of the hormone it's mimicking. For most, these side effects are temporary, lasting a few days to a week after the first shot of the new dose, but it's a mental hurdle you have to clear every 4 weeks for the first 5 months. This is where having a community becomes critical. People turn to Facebook groups and Reddit threads not just to celebrate their wins, but to troubleshoot their titration symptoms. You'll see veterans of the drug offering advice to newcomers. Sip on protein shakes. Try injecting in your thigh instead of your stomach. Make sure you get electrolytes. Don't eat anything greasy the day after your shot. This shared knowledge becomes a lifeline, helping people push through the temporary discomfort because they know what's on the other side. Then comes the moment every single user dreads. It happens to almost everyone, usually around month 3 or 4. The scale stops moving. The number that was so reliably dropping every week is now stuck. For a week, then 2 weeks. The panic sets in. Did it stop working? Is this it? Is this all the weight I'm going to lose? Am I broken? This is the Great Wegovy Plateau. And it's where a lot of people's resolve is truly tested. The temptation to quit is real. You're paying a lot of money, you're dealing with side effects, and for what? To see the same number on the scale day after day? This is a psychological minefield. But what experienced users and medical professionals will tell you is that this is not only normal, it's expected. Your body is a complex, adaptive machine. As you lose weight, your metabolism naturally slows down a bit. Your body is trying to find a new equilibrium. It's fighting back, trying to hold on to its energy stores. This is when the focus has to shift, and this is the biggest lesson users learn during this phase. The scale is a liar. Or at least it's not telling the whole story. While the number might be stuck, your body composition is often still changing. You might be losing fat and gaining a bit of muscle, especially if you've incorporated exercise. This is where non-scale victories, or NSVs, become the currency of success. And these NSVs are often far more meaningful than a number. It's the moment you can cross your legs comfortably for the first time in a decade. It's being able to bend over and tie your shoes without holding your breath. One man shared a story that brought tears to people's eyes. He was able to get on the floor and build a Lego set with his 6-year-old son without his knee screaming in pain. He said, "I lost 40 pounds, but I gained that moment. I'd take that trade any day of the week. It's fitting into an airplane seat without the metal digging into your sides. It's seeing your blood pressure numbers finally enter the normal range at the doctor's office. It's the reduction in joint pain, the disappearance of sleep apnea, the normalization of blood sugar levels. These are the real-world markers of improved health that keep people going when the scale is being stubborn. You're not just losing weight, you're gaining life. You're gaining years. You're gaining experiences you thought were lost to you forever. But with all this change comes another, often unexpected challenge: navigating your new social life. Food is central to human connection. We celebrate with it, we mourn with it, we socialize over it. And when your relationship with food fundamentally changes, it can create a strange social disconnect. Imagine going out to a restaurant with friends. They all order big plates of pasta and bread baskets. You order a grilled chicken breast, eat about a third of it, and you're completely uncomfortably full. Your friends are concerned. Are you okay? Don't you like it? You have to explain. No, it's delicious, I'm just full. But to them it looks like you've barely eaten anything. It can feel awkward, even isolating. Users talk about the difficulty of holidays like Thanksgiving. Family members who show love through food feel rejected when you turn down a second helping of their famous mashed potatoes. There's a learning curve for you, and there's a learning curve for the people around you. You have to become comfortable saying, "No thank you, I've had enough," and not feeling guilty about it. You have to learn to navigate a world that is constantly pushing food on you. From office birthday cakes to Super Bowl parties. It forces you to redefine your participation in these events, to focus on the conversation and the camaraderie rather than the consumption. For many, this is a surprisingly difficult but ultimately empowering shift in perspective. It's another layer of the journey, proving that this transformation goes far beyond just your body. It reshapes your entire interaction with the world around you. But for every story of newfound social confidence, there's a flip side. A much less glamorous and far more visceral part of the journey that happens behind closed doors. Because while your mind is recalibrating to a new social reality, your body is often at war with itself. This is the part of the Wegovy experience that doesn't make it into the celebratory before and after photos. It's the toll booth you have to pass through to get to the destination. And the most common toll, the one that nearly every single user talks about, is nausea. And we're not talking about a little bit of motion sickness. We're talking about a profound, deep-seated nausea that can be completely debilitating. Scrolling through forums, you see the same descriptions over and over again. It's a wave. It's a constant, low-grade hum of sickness. One person described it as feeling perpetually seasick on dry land. For many, it's the most intense in the 24 to 48 hours after their weekly injection. They call it shot day sickness. They plan for it. They clear their schedules, they stock up on ginger ale and crackers, they basically brace for impact. Imagine knowing that every Sunday night, you're going to feel like you have the stomach flu until Tuesday morning. That's the reality for a significant number of people, especially in the beginning. This isn't just an inconvenience. It fundamentally alters your life. You cancel plans. You dread meals, not because you're not hungry, but because you're afraid of how your stomach will react. One user wrote, and this really stuck with me, "I wanted to lose weight to enjoy life more. But for the first 2 months I felt too sick to enjoy anything at all." It's a cruel irony. You're taking a medication to improve your health and quality of life, and in the short term it can feel like it's doing the exact opposite. And the nausea often brings friends. Unpleasant, unwelcome friends. Let's be frank here, because the real users are. We're talking about a whole suite of gastrointestinal issues. Constipation is a huge one. People talk about going days without a bowel movement, feeling bloated, uncomfortable, and full for all the wrong reasons. They find themselves in a desperate search for remedies, trying everything from fiber supplements and stool softeners to magnesium citrate, creating complex cocktails just to feel normal. On the other end of the spectrum, some people experience the complete opposite: sudden, unpredictable bouts of diarrhea. And then there are the infamous sulfur burps. It's one of the strangest, most specific side effects reported. Users describe these foul-tasting burps that smell and taste like rotten eggs. It's embarrassing, it's unpleasant, and it's yet another sign that something profound and powerful is happening inside your digestive system. Your body is fundamentally changing how it processes food, and these side effects are the chaotic, messy evidence of that change. Now, it's critical to understand why this happens. This isn't random. The medication, Semaglutide, works in part by slowing down gastric emptying. That means the food you eat sits in your stomach for much longer than you're used to. This extended stay is a key reason you feel full, but it's also the root cause of the nausea, the bloating, the burps, the acid reflux. Your stomach is literally a holding zone, and it's not always happy about it. This is why doctors are so incredibly strict about the titration schedule. You don't just start on the full dose of Wegovy. You start on a tiny, almost introductory dose of 0.25 milligrams. Then, after a month, you move up to 0.5. then 1.0, then 1.7, and finally after 5 months you reach the full maintenance dose of 2.4 milligrams. This low and slow approach is designed for one reason and one reason only: to let your body adapt. To give your gastrointestinal system a fighting chance to get used to this new reality. Each step up in dosage is like a new test. Many users report that their side effects flare up for a week or two after increasing the dose, and then their body finds a new equilibrium. But this process is a test of endurance. It's a 5-month-long physical and mental challenge. The community forums are filled with people asking the same question. Does it get better? They're on week 3 feeling miserable, and they need to know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And the overwhelming response from veteran users is almost always, yes, stick with it. It gets better. They share their survival guides. Stay hydrated. Electrolyte drinks are your best friend. Avoid greasy, fatty foods at all costs. You will regret it. Eat small, protein-heavy meals throughout the day. Don't lie down right after you eat. These aren't just tips. They're commandments. They are the hard-won wisdom of people who have been through the trenches. They learned that a single slice of greasy pizza, something they might have eaten without a second thought before, can now sentence them to a night of agony. This forces a behavioral change that goes beyond just reduced appetite. You're not just eating less because you're not hungry. You're actively avoiding certain foods because you're afraid of the physical consequences. The medication becomes a powerful, and sometimes painful, aversive conditioning tool. Beyond the major GI issues, there's a constellation of other strange and frequently reported side effects. Fatigue is a big one. Not just feeling a little tired, but a bone-deep exhaustion that some users call the Wegovy wall. It often hits the day after the injection. A wave of lethargy that makes even simple tasks feel monumental. People describe needing naps, feeling like they're moving through mud, and just not having their usual energy or spark. Then there are the bizarre food aversions. Lifelong coffee lovers who suddenly can't stand the smell of it. People who adored steak now find it repulsive. Your brain's entire reward system around food is being rewired, and sometimes the wires get crossed in strange ways. Your favorite comfort foods can become your worst enemies overnight, not just because they make you sick, but because the very thought of them is unappealing. It's another layer of the psychological shift, where the very landscape of your desires and cravings is terraformed without your consent. You're navigating a minefield. You're dealing with nausea, constipation, exhaustion, and a complete upheaval of your relationship with food. You're meticulously planning your meals not for calories, but for symptom avoidance. You're scheduling your social life around your shot day. It's a part-time job just managing the side effects of the medication that's supposed to be making your life better. So you have this internal battle raging. Your stomach is in knots, you're exhausted, and you're questioning if this ordeal is even remotely sustainable. But then, in the midst of all that chaos and discomfort, you do the one thing you've probably been dreading for years. You step on the scale. And that's when the entire equation changes. Because what happens next is often the very thing that keeps people going, even when every fiber of their being is telling them to stop. The number stares back at you. For a second, you're sure it's a mistake. You step off, let the digital display reset to 0, and step back on, holding your breath. It's the same. Down. Not by a pound, not by 2, but by a number that feels significant. A number that can't be explained away by drinking less water yesterday or skipping a salty meal. This is real. This is fat gone from your body. And in that moment, the nausea, the fatigue, the sulfur burps, they don't disappear, but their power over you diminishes. They become the price of admission, a toll you are suddenly, surprisingly willing to pay. Because that number on the scale isn't just a measurement of mass. It's a measurement of hope. It's the first concrete piece of evidence that this time, after all the failed diets, the broken promises to yourself, the years of shame and frustration, this time might actually be different. This is the turning point we see repeated over and over in thousands of reviews. It's the moment the drug stops being an antagonist, a foreign invader causing chaos in your system, and starts feeling like an ally. A user on a weight loss forum, a 45-year-old man from Ohio, put it this way: "The first 3 weeks were hell. I was ready to quit. My wife begged me to quit. I was living on crackers and regret. Then I had my first monthly weigh-in at the doctor's office. I had lost 17 pounds. 17. I hadn't lost 17 pounds in a decade. Suddenly, the side effects weren't a punishment. They were proof that it was working." This psychological shift is the secret weapon of these medications. It's not just about the biological mechanisms of appetite suppression. It's about breaking the cycle of failure. For so many people, weight loss has been a story of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. You eat perfectly for a week, lose 3 pounds, feel amazing, and then a stressful day at work leads to a pizza, which leads to a pint of ice cream, which leads to a weekend of giving up, and by Monday you've gained back 5 pounds. It's a demoralizing, soul-crushing loop. Wegovy and its counterparts act like a circuit breaker on that loop. The intense cravings that would normally derail you are quiet. The obsessive thoughts about what you'll eat next, the mental bargaining, the guilt. It's all turned down from a roaring inferno to a pilot light. One woman on Reddit described it as the food noise is gone. Think about that phrase. The food noise. For anyone who has never struggled with their weight, that might sound strange. But for millions, it's a perfect description of the constant background static in their brain. A ceaseless monologue about calories, macros, what's good, what's bad, when to eat, what you ate yesterday, what you'll allow yourself to eat tomorrow. It is exhausting. She wrote, "For the first time since I was a child, my brain is quiet. I eat when I'm hungry. I stop when I'm full. I can be in a room with a birthday cake and not feel like I'm a caged animal fighting against its instincts. Feel normal. I didn't realize how much energy I was wasting on that noise until it was gone." This newfound peace is where the truly astounding results begin to take shape. People start reporting weight loss that sounds almost unbelievable. A 38-year-old woman shares that she lost 85 pounds in 10 months, going from a size 20 to a size 8. A 52-year-old man reports losing 60 pounds in 6 months and completely reversing his prediabetes. His doctor took him off his blood pressure and cholesterol medications. These aren't outliers. These are the common stories you find with a simple search. The numbers are often staggering: 20, 30, 40% of their starting body weight gone in a year or 18 months. But the most compelling stories, the ones that truly illustrate the life-altering impact, have nothing to do with the number on the scale. They're what the community calls non-scale victories, or NSVs, and they are powerful. It's the mother who writes with palpable joy that she could finally get on the floor and play with her toddler without her knees screaming in protest. It's the man who can now bend over and tie his own shoes without holding his breath and turning red. It's the woman who posted a picture of herself sitting in an airplane seat, with the seatbelt buckled, and for the first time in 20 years, she didn't have to ask for a seatbelt extender. She wrote, "I sat there and cried, not because I was sad, but because I felt free." These are the moments that redefine a person's life. It's being able to shop for clothes in any store you want, not just the 1 or 2 plus-size shops in town. It's the confidence to raise your hand in a meeting at work. It's the energy to go for a hike with your friends instead of making up an excuse to stay home. It's looking in the mirror and not just seeing a smaller version of yourself, but seeing the person you always knew you were on the inside finally emerging. A particularly moving account came from a teacher in her late 50s. She had struggled with her weight since her first pregnancy 30 years prior. She tried everything. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Keto, Atkins, you name it. Nothing stuck. Her joints ached, she was on a CPAP machine for sleep apnea, and she felt invisible. She started Wegovy and over the next year, she lost 110 pounds. But the victory she shared wasn't about the weight. She wrote, "Last week during a school assembly, I had to walk across the gym floor. Before, I would have walked along the wall trying to hide. I would have been thinking about how everyone was staring at me, judging me. But last week I walked right across the middle of the floor. I wasn't thinking about my body. I wasn't thinking about what anyone thought. I was just walking. And I realized I hadn't felt that kind of freedom, that simple lack of self-consciousness since I was a teenager. This drug didn't just give me my health back. It gave me my life back." This is why you hear people call it a miracle drug. It's a controversial term and we'll get into why later. But from the perspective of someone who has been trapped in a cycle of weight gain and self-blame for decades, finding something that finally works does feel like a miracle. It feels like a biological puzzle piece they were missing has finally been slotted into place. The constant, exhausting battle they've been fighting, not just with food, but with their own body, their own genetics, their own brain chemistry, is suddenly over. And they've won. The success stories are intoxicating. They paint a picture of a simple, almost effortless transformation. Take a shot once a week, feel a little sick, and watch the pounds melt away until you're a brand new person. It's the ultimate before and after fantasy come to life. And for many, this is largely their reality. The journey is hard, but the destination is worth it. The positive reviews overwhelmingly focus on this endpoint. The goal weight achieved, the A1C normalized, the confidence restored. They are a testament to a medical breakthrough that is fundamentally reshaping our understanding of obesity. But this is not the whole story, because buried within these triumphant tales of transformation are warnings. Quiet acknowledgments that the after picture isn't always as perfect as it seems. Because when you fundamentally alter your body's relationship with food, you alter more than just your waistline. When you lose a significant amount of weight that quickly, your body changes in ways you might not expect and can't always control. And the reflection staring back at you from the mirror can reveal a new set of problems you were completely unprepared to face. One of the most talked about and most feared side effects isn't listed on any pharmacy printout. It's not nausea, it's not fatigue. It has a name you've probably seen scrolling through social media. Ozempic face. And yes, the same thing happens with Wegovy. It's the phenomenon where rapid, significant weight loss leaves a person's face looking gaunt, hollowed out in years, sometimes even decades older. Think of the fat in your face as the structural support for your skin. It's the natural volume that gives you plump cheeks and a smooth jawline. When you lose weight slowly over a year or two, your skin has a chance to gradually retract and adjust to the new, smaller frame underneath. But Wegovy doesn't do slow. It puts your body into a weight loss hyperdrive. The fat melts away from your face so quickly that your skin, the outer layer, is left with no support. It's like pulling the stuffing out of a pillow. The pillowcase just collapses and wrinkles. A 48-year-old woman on a popular Reddit forum shared her story. She'd lost 65 pounds in 7 months. She wrote, "I feel incredible. I have energy I haven't had since my 20s. But last week I was on a Zoom call and saw my own reflection. I was horrified. I looked like my own grandmother. The lines around my mouth are so deep now, and my cheeks are just gone. I look perpetually exhausted and sad. My husband says I'm beautiful, but I know what I see. I traded a body I hated for a face I don't even recognize. This isn't just vanity. It's a profound psychological shock. For years, you dream of the moment you'll lose the weight. You imagine looking in the mirror and feeling triumphant. Instead, you're met with a stranger who looks tired, stressed, and unwell. The irony is brutal. You're healthier than you've been in years, but people start asking if you're okay if you're sick. The very thing you did to improve your health makes you look to the outside world like you're deteriorating. And this deflation isn't just limited to the face. Users across the internet are reporting what could be called Wegovy body. The same principle applies everywhere. The rapid loss of subcutaneous fat leads to loose, sagging skin on the arms, the thighs, and most dramatically, the stomach. It's the cruel paradox of massive weight loss. You finally hit your goal weight, you can buy clothes in a size you only dreamed of, but you're more self-conscious about your body than ever before. One man, a 35-year-old from Texas, shared a video on TikTok. He'd lost 110 pounds on Wegovy. He was standing in his bathroom, beaming with pride as he talked about his journey. Then he lifted his shirt. The skin on his stomach hung in loose folds. He said, "I am so proud of this. I'm so much healthier. But I'm not gonna lie to you all. I thought when I lost the weight I'd be at the beach every weekend. Now, I haven't taken my shirt off in public once. I feel like I'm wearing a costume of a thin person, but underneath, I'm still hiding." This is the conversation happening in hushed tones, away from the celebratory before and after photos. It's the trade-off nobody prepares you for. You might be free from the health complications of obesity, but you're now facing a new set of body image issues that can be just as crippling. It can lead to a specific kind of body dysmorphia, where the image in your mind of your thin self is completely disconnected from the reality in the mirror. You've achieved the impossible, but the victory feels hollow and incomplete. You've solved one problem only to uncover another, one that feels even more personal and in some ways even more permanent. This has opened up a booming new industry for dermatologists and plastic surgeons. They're seeing a wave of patients who are, by all medical standards, success stories. They've lowered their blood pressure, reversed their prediabetes, and lost the weight. But they're coming in and asking, "Can you fix this?" They're seeking solutions for the aftermath. For the face, the answer is often fillers. Injecting hyaluronic acid into the cheeks and temples to restore the lost volume. A single treatment can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, and it has to be repeated every year or so. If the sagging is more severe, the only real option is a facelift, a surgical procedure that can cost upwards of $15,000. For the body, the solutions are even more drastic and expensive. A brachioplasty or arm lift, to remove the bat wings of loose skin. A thigh lift. and the most common procedure an abdominoplasty or tummy tuck. These are major surgeries requiring general anesthesia, significant recovery time, and leaving permanent scars. And the cost is staggering. A full tummy tuck can easily run over $20,000, and because it's considered cosmetic, it's almost never covered by insurance. This is the hidden price tag of the Wegovy miracle. The cost of the drug itself is just the down payment. For many, the true cost comes after the weight is lost, the thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars required to feel truly comfortable in their new skin. It creates a strange new class system in weight loss. Those with the financial means can complete the transformation, buying back the youthful face and taut skin that rapid weight loss took from them. Those without are left in a frustrating limbo, healthier but grappling with the permanent, visible reminders of their former selves. It forces you to ask a difficult question. What was the goal in the first place? Was it just to see a smaller number on the scale? Or was it to feel good, to feel confident, to feel at home in your own body? For many, Wegovy gets them part of the way there, but leaves them stranded before the finish line, staring at a reflection they weren't prepared for, with a whole new set of insecurities they never expected. And all of this, the aged face, the loose skin, the surgical scars, is predicated on one crucial assumption: that the weight loss is permanent. The sagging skin is a permanent reminder of the body you once had. But what about the weight itself? What happens when the weekly injections, the chemical crutch that made it all possible, finally stop? This brings up a terrifying question that haunts every single person taking this medication. They've endured the side effects, paid the high price, and are now dealing with the physical aftermath, all for the result. But is the result here to stay? What happens when the music stops? The answer is something the drug companies are very quiet about. And it's a reality that is blindsiding thousands of users who thought they had finally found their cure. This is often called the rebound effect, and it's the dark secret of the miracle drug. Imagine spending a year, maybe more, meticulously planning your shots, enduring the side effects, celebrating every pound lost on the scale. You finally hit your goal weight. You feel incredible. You fit into clothes you haven't worn in a decade. Your doctor is thrilled. You think, I did it. I'm finally free. So, you decide to stop the injections. Maybe your insurance coupon ran out, and the $1,300 a month price tag is simply impossible. Or maybe you just feel like you've learned the habits and can now maintain it on your own. And for a week, maybe two, it feels fine. But then a quiet little whisper starts in the back of your mind. A thought you haven't had in months. I'm a little hungry. First you ignore it, but the whisper gets louder. It becomes a persistent hum. That constant nagging food noise that Wegovy so miraculously silenced comes roaring back. It's not just a gentle return. For many, it's a tidal wave. The hunger feels primal, insatiable. Foods you barely thought about for a year suddenly become an obsession. The portion sizes that felt so satisfying on the drug now feel like a tiny appetizer. This isn't a failure of willpower. Let's be very clear about that. This is biology, raw and powerful. When you lose a significant amount of weight, your body doesn't celebrate with you. It panics. It perceives the weight loss as a threat to survival, as a famine. So it unleashes its entire arsenal to get that weight back. Your metabolism slows down to conserve energy, meaning you burn fewer calories at rest than someone of the same weight who is never overweight. This is called metabolic adaptation, and it's a cruel trick of evolution. At the same time, your body cranks up the production of ghrelin, the hunger hormone. It screams at you to eat, and it reduces the levels of leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full. So you have a slower engine, a foot slammed on the gas pedal of hunger, and a broken brake pedal for satiety. Wegovy was acting as an artificial dam, holding all of this back. It was mimicking the GLP-1 hormone that made you feel full and satisfied, effectively overriding your body's panic signals. When you stop the medication, you blow up the dam. All of that pent-up biological pressure, the slowed metabolism, the raging ghrelin, the silenced leptin, comes rushing back in. And it's often stronger than it was before you even started. Your body is desperately trying to return to its highest set point, the weight it feels most comfortable at. Let's talk about a user I'll call Brenda, a 48-year-old teacher from Ohio. Her story, pieced together from a forum post, is heartbreakingly common. She lost 72 pounds on Wegovy over 18 months. She called it her lifeline. She had more energy, her joint pain vanished, and her blood pressure normalized. She was pre-diabetic before. Now her A1C was perfect. But her insurance changed, and the new plan wouldn't cover Wegovy. Her out-of-pocket costs shot up to over $1,000. She couldn't afford it. She wrote, "I felt like my cure was being ripped away from me. I was terrified." Her first month off the drug was a white-knuckle experience. She used all the strategies she'd learned. She ate high-protein meals, drank tons of water, and kept exercising. But she described the hunger as a monster that had been asleep and was now wide awake and furious. Within 3 months, she had regained 30 pounds. 6 months after stopping, she was up 55 pounds. She was only 17 pounds away from her starting weight. She wrote, "I feel like a complete failure. All that work, all that money, all that hope gone. It feels like the drug was just renting me a thinner body. And now the lease is up and the landlord kicked me out." Brenda's story isn't an outlier. Major clinical trials back this up. The Step 1 trial, one of the foundational studies for Wegovy, followed participants for a year after they stopped the medication. The results were stark. On average, the participants who stopped the drug regained 2/3 of the weight they had lost. 2/3. Let that sink in. You go through everything: the nausea, the cost, the injections, to lose 60 pounds, and the moment you stop, you can expect to gain 40 of it right back. The study showed that the improvements in blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar also started to reverse. This leads to the shocking realization that for most people, Wegovy isn't a course of treatment like an antibiotic. It's a chronic medication for a chronic condition. It's like medication for high blood pressure. You don't just take it for a year until your blood pressure is normal and then stop, expecting it to stay that way. You take it for life because it's the medication that is actively managing the condition. The moment you stop, the underlying condition, in this case the complex biological drive to store and regain weight, takes over again. This is a truth that many users only discover when they're forced to stop. Take another user. Let's call him Mark, a 35-year-old software developer. He didn't stop because of cost, he stopped because of side effects. After a year on the maximum dose, he started experiencing debilitating abdominal pain. His doctor was concerned about pancreatitis and told him to stop immediately. Mark was relieved to be free from the pain, but what came next was a different kind of misery. The food noise was one thing, he posted on Reddit, but the psychological whiplash was worse. I had gotten used to a new identity. I was fit Mark. I bought a whole new wardrobe. My dating life improved. I felt like I had finally become the person I was always supposed to be. When the weight started piling back on, I felt like I was watching that person die. It was a profound sense of grief. Mark's experience highlights the deep psychological component of this rebound. Users aren't just gaining back pounds. They're losing a version of themselves they had grown to love. They're facing the silent judgment of friends and family who might think, "I knew it was too good to be true," or "Why can't he just keep it off?" They're dealing with the shame and frustration of feeling like their own body has betrayed them, even though it's just doing what it's programmed to do. This is the fundamental dilemma of Wegovy and the entire class of GLP-1 drugs. They are incredibly effective at treating the symptoms of obesity, the excess weight, and the metabolic consequences. But they do not cure the underlying condition. The drug is the finger in the dike. It works beautifully as long as it's there, but the pressure on the other side never goes away. This reality is forcing a massive shift in how we think about weight loss treatment. The pharmaceutical companies and increasingly the medical community are framing obesity not as a problem to be solved, but as a chronic disease to be managed indefinitely. The goal isn't to take Wegovy for a year to lose weight. The goal is to take Wegovy or a similar drug forever to keep the weight off. This raises a cascade of terrifying questions. What are the long-term health effects of taking such a powerful gut-altering medication for 20, 30, or 40 years? The studies we have are relatively short-term. We're in the middle of a massive, real-time public health experiment. And what about the cost? Is society prepared for millions of people to be on a $15,000 a year medication for the rest of their lives? Who pays for that? What does that do to insurance premiums for everyone else? For the individual user, the choice becomes a stark one. A lifelong sentence of weekly injections, with all the associated costs and potential side effects, or the near certainty of regaining the weight they fought so hard to lose. Feels like a trap. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. For the thousands of people who thought this was the final answer, the magic bullet, this realization is a slow-motion gut punch. They've climbed the mountain, only to discover they have to pay a massive toll, every single month, just to stay at the summit. And if they stop paying, they're thrown right back to the bottom. And for so many, that fall back to the bottom is not a gentle slide. It's a free fall. The safety net they didn't even realize they were standing on is suddenly violently ripped away. This is perhaps the most fiercely debated, most feared chapter in the Wegovy story. What happens when you stop? The clinical trials are clear. The anecdotes are even clearer. The weight comes back. And it often comes back with a vengeance. To understand the sheer shock of this experience, you have to remember what it was like for them on the drug. The food noise. That constant, nagging internal monologue about what to eat next. When to eat, what you shouldn't eat but want to, it was gone. For the first time in their adult lives, many users describe a feeling of peace. A quiet mind. They could eat a small portion and feel satisfied, then not think about food for hours. They were finally in the driver's seat of their own bodies. Stopping the medication is like having that driver violently ejected from the car while it's going 70 miles per hour down the highway. The food noise doesn't just return. It comes back like a heavy metal concert in a library. It's deafening. The hunger isn't just hunger. It's a primal, ravenous craving that they no longer have the chemical tools to fight. One user on Reddit described it with chilling simplicity. It's like I forgot how to be full. I'd eat a meal that would have been way too much on Wegovy, and 30 minutes later my stomach would be screaming at me that it was empty. This isn't a failure of willpower. This is biology reasserting its dominance with brutal efficiency. The GLP-1 agonist, Semaglutide, works by mimicking hormones that tell your brain you're full, and your stomach to empty more slowly. When you stop the weekly injections, that mimicry ceases. The hormonal signals that drove the overeating in the first place, the ones that were being chemically suppressed, come roaring back online. But it's worse than that. Because during their weight loss journey, their body has adapted. Their metabolism has likely slowed down, a natural defense mechanism against what the body perceives as starvation. So now they're facing a perfect storm. A revved-up, screaming appetite, combined with a slower, more sluggish metabolic engine. They are biologically primed for rapid weight regain. The very same body they had learned to trust is now actively working against them, trying to reclaim every single pound it lost, and maybe a few extra for good measure. The stories of this rebound are heartbreaking. People talk about the shame. After months of receiving compliments, of buying new clothes, of feeling confident and healthy, they have to face the world as the scale creeps back up. Every pound regained feels like a personal failure, even though they know it's a physiological response. My friends and family were so proud of me, one woman wrote. Now I can see the look in their eyes. It's a mix of pity and, I told you so. They don't say it, but I feel it. It's like they think I just gave up and went back to being lazy. This experience shatters the kickstart narrative, the hopeful idea that you can use Wegovy for 6 months or a year to lose the weight and build healthy habits, and then just maintain it on your own. For a small subset of people, perhaps this is possible. But for the vast majority, the user reports suggest this is a dangerous fantasy. The healthy habits they built, eating smaller portions, choosing healthier foods, exercising, were all made possible by the drug's effects. The drug wasn't a crutch, it was the foundation. Taking away the drug is like pulling the foundation out from under a house and hoping the walls stay up through sheer force of will. The psychological whiplash is immense. You go from feeling in control to feeling utterly powerless. The food noise is one thing, but the return of cravings is another beast entirely. Foods they hadn't thought about in a year suddenly become obsessive thoughts. The late-night urge for ice cream, the pull of the drive-thru, the desire for a bag of chips. It all comes back amplified. They are fighting the same old war, but their best weapon has been taken away, and their enemy seems stronger than ever before. This leads to a terrifying, dawning realization for many users, a conclusion that the medical community is now stating more and more explicitly. Obesity for many people is a chronic disease just like high blood pressure or diabetes. And Wegovy is not a cure. It is a chronic treatment. You don't take blood pressure medication for 6 months to cure your hypertension. You take it for life to manage it. The evidence is mounting that for GLP-1 drugs to be effective long-term, they must be taken long-term, possibly forever. This reframes the entire conversation. It's no longer about a temporary diet aid. It's about a lifelong pharmaceutical dependency. And that comes with a whole new set of anxieties and calculations. The cost, which was a concern for a 1-year treatment, becomes an astronomical, lifelong financial burden. The side effects, which were tolerable in the short term, now have to be considered over a span of decades. What are the unknown risks of taking such a powerful metabolism-altering drug for 30, 40, or 50 years? The truth is, nobody knows for sure. The drug is too new. These users are the pioneers living out the long-term study in real time. And this creates a deep philosophical rift in how users see themselves. Are they now sick? Are they someone who needs medication every single week just to maintain a normal weight? Can feel like a life sentence. The freedom they felt when the food noise disappeared is replaced by the trapped feeling of being tethered to a weekly injection. One person articulated this dilemma perfectly. I have two choices. I can be fat me, constantly fighting my own body, feeling unhealthy and unhappy. Or I can be Wegovy me, feeling healthier and more in control, but completely dependent on $1,000 a month drug for the rest of my life. Neither one feels like being free. This is the hidden cost of stopping, and the true price of starting. The journey doesn't end when you hit your goal weight. In many ways, that's where the hardest part of the journey begins. It's a permanent fork in the road with no easy path forward. The success stories are real, but the fine print is becoming clearer every day. Success is conditional. It's contingent on access, on affordability, and on a willingness to sign up for a lifelong commitment. The moment any of those conditions change, the fall back to the bottom is waiting. And this reality forces us to ask an even bigger question about the nature of these drugs. Are they empowering individuals, or are they creating a new, permanent class of pharmaceutical dependency? That word, dependency, it hangs in the air, heavy with implication. For many, it conjures images of addiction, of a loss of control. But in the context of Wegovy, it's something far more nuanced and, in some ways, more insidious. It's not about a chemical high. It's about a dependency on a specific physiological state, a state that can only be maintained by a continuous and expensive chemical intervention. This isn't a cure. It's a subscription. A subscription to a new body, a new life, with terms and conditions written in the fine print of pharmaceutical patents and insurance policies. Let's talk about the most immediate and brutal form of this dependency, the financial cage. The list price for a 1-month supply of Wegovy in the United States hovers around $1,600. Let that sink in. For someone without stellar insurance coverage, that's nearly $20,000 a year. It's a luxury car payment. It's a down payment on a house. It's a college fund. This isn't just a medication. It's a major financial asset you are injecting into your body every single week. Online forums are littered with the stories of this financial anxiety. People become amateur insurance lobbyists, spending hours on the phone, navigating labyrinthine pre-authorization forms, fighting tooth and nail for a medication their doctor says they need. You'll read posts from people like a 45-year-old teacher from Ohio who celebrated her 60-pound weight loss, only to receive a letter a month later that her insurance plan was changing its formulary. Wegovy was no longer covered. Her post was frantic. What do? I can't afford this out of pocket. Do I just watch all my progress disappear? I feel like they gave me a lifeboat and then started charging me for every breath I take on it. This creates a bizarre and stressful dynamic. Your health, your progress, your newfound confidence. It's all tethered to your employer's benefits package, to the whims of a pharmacy benefit manager, to the fine print of a policy you probably never read. People talk about taking on second jobs, draining their savings, or turning to gray market Canadian or Mexican pharmacies, all in a desperate bid to maintain their supply. The success story becomes a hostage situation. The very tool that gave them freedom has now become their warden. One user put it perfectly. I feel like I'm renting this body, and the lease is up for renewal every single month. And every month I live in fear of eviction. But even if you can afford it, even if your insurance is rock solid, a second cage materializes. The psychological one. The constant, low-grade hum of anxiety about what happens if you stop. This fear of rebound weight gain is not just a possibility. It's a statistical probability. The original clinical trials showed that a year after stopping the medication, participants regained, on average, 2/3 of the weight they had lost. The drug doesn't fix the underlying metabolic processes permanently. It manages them. When the manager is gone, the old system reasserts itself. This knowledge creates a profound psychological burden. Every meal, every social gathering, every vacation is haunted by the question, what would this be like without the shot? Users describe a fear of travel, not because of flying, but because they're worried about their Wegovy pen being refrigerated properly. They panic if they hear whispers of a manufacturing shortage, scrambling to get their refills early. It's a sword of Damocles hanging over their success. They've climbed the mountain, but they can never relax and enjoy the view, because they know the ground beneath them is held up by a single fragile pillar. One woman on Reddit shared a story that resonated with thousands. She had lost 85 pounds and felt incredible. She went to a wedding, and for the first time in her adult life, she danced without a shred of self-consciousness. She ate a piece of cake without the usual spiral of guilt. It was, she said, a moment of pure joy. But on the drive home, a different feeling crept in: terror. She realized that this joy, this freedom, wasn't truly hers. It was borrowed. It was underwritten by Novo Nordisk. She wrote, "I felt like Cinderella. I had this amazing night at the ball, but I knew deep down that at the stroke of midnight, whether that's a supply issue, an insurance denial, or a new side effect, I could turn back into a pumpkin." Now, the counterargument, and it's a valid one, is that we treat many other chronic diseases with lifelong medication. No one tells a person with type 1 diabetes to just try harder to produce insulin. No one tells someone with high blood pressure that their reliance on beta blockers is a sign of weakness. They are managing a chronic condition, and the medical community is pushing hard to reframe obesity in exactly the same way, as a complex chronic metabolic disease, not a failure of willpower. From this perspective, Wegovy is no different than a statin for cholesterol. It's a tool to manage a persistent biological reality. A doctor might tell their patient, "Look, your body is hardwired to defend a higher set point weight. This medication helps to regulate that. You may need it for the long term, just as you would for any other chronic condition." This is a powerful and medically sound argument. It removes the shame and stigma that have plagued conversations about weight for centuries. But there's a crucial difference in social and psychological perception. Society has largely accepted the biological basis for high cholesterol. It has not, by and large, accepted it for obesity. The cultural narrative of calories in, calories out, and personal responsibility is still incredibly dominant. So, while a person taking a statin feels like they are managing a health condition, a person on Wegovy often still battles an internal and external narrative that they have taken a shortcut, an easy way out. This creates a unique form of psychological dissonance. They feel the incredible relief of the drug's effects, but they can't fully escape the cultural baggage that says their success is artificial, that it's not earned. This feeds back into the fear of stopping. If they regain the weight, it won't just be a medical setback. For many, it will feel like a personal moral failure, confirming the darkest whispers of their own inner critic and the judgment of others. It proves the doubters right. They couldn't do it on their own after all. This is the cruel paradox of Wegovy dependency. The drug works so well that it sets an impossibly high bar for life without it. It doesn't just help you lose weight. It creates a new standard for your own body that feels impossible to maintain naturally. This reality is forcing a massive, uncomfortable conversation. Is this the future of weight management? A permanent, medicated state for a significant portion of the population? If so, we have to consider the systemic implications. What does it mean for a society when millions of its citizens are reliant on a single, expensive, and sometimes scarce pharmaceutical product to maintain their physical and mental well-being? It grants enormous power to the companies that produce these drugs and the insurance networks that control access to them. It fundamentally alters the relationship between an individual and their own body, outsourcing a key regulatory function to a weekly injection. The relief is real. The results are undeniable. But the golden cage is also real, with walls built of financial cost and psychological fear. And for many users, they are only just beginning to realize the true price of their newfound freedom. But beyond the fear of stopping, some users are discovering that staying on the drug brings its own set of strange, unexpected transformations, changing not just their bodies, but their very sense of self. It often starts with a strange, unnerving silence. For years, maybe for their entire adult lives, their brain has been a constant buzz of chatter about food. A relentless inner monologue calculating calories, planning the next meal, fighting cravings, feeling guilt over the last one. It's a background noise so persistent they don't even realize it's there. Like the hum of a refrigerator in an old house. Then one day on Wegovy it just stops. The hum is gone. The silence is deafening. They call it the death of food noise. For many, this is the single greatest miracle of the drug. It's a mental liberation they never thought possible. Suddenly, there is space in their brain for other things, for work, for hobbies, for genuine presence with their loved ones. They can walk past a bakery without a war breaking out in their head. They can leave food on their plate not because of willpower, but because they are simply done. It's freedom. But for some, this newfound quiet feels empty, unnatural. They've spent so long with that internal battle that its absence feels like a loss of a part of themselves. It was an exhausting, destructive part, yes, but it was familiar. It was theirs. And now in its place there's a quiet void. And they begin to wonder what is supposed to fill it. This is where the transformation takes a stranger, and for some, a darker turn. The mechanism that silences the craving for a cheeseburger doesn't always know where to stop. Users start reporting a peculiar kind of emotional flattening. It's not depression, not exactly. It's more like the color has been turned down on life itself. That Friday night glass of wine they used to savor now just tastes like sour grape juice. The thrill of finding a great deal online shopping? Gone. The compulsive need to check their phone? Vanished. One user described their lifelong passion for live music, the electric feeling of a crowd and a guitar riff, as something they now watch from a distance, like a boring documentary about their own life. This phenomenon known as anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure, seems to be a real, if rare, side effect. The drug, by acting on the brain's reward centers, can blunt the dopamine spikes we get from all sorts of activities, not just eating. It's a terrifying trade-off. You're no longer a slave to your cravings, but you're also no longer moved by your joys. You've successfully gotten off the roller coaster of compulsive desire, only to find yourself stranded in a flat, gray, featureless landscape. The very things that made them feel alive, the passions and small pleasures that defined their personality, begin to fade into the background, leaving them to question if the person they're becoming is someone they even want to be. This sense of alienation is compounded when they look in the mirror. They expected to see a healthier, happier, more vibrant version of themselves. Instead, some are met with a stranger. The rapid fat loss, particularly in the face, can lead to a gaunt, hollowed-out look that doctors have dubbed Ozempic face. The skin sags, wrinkles deepen, and they suddenly look a decade older. It's a cruel paradox. They've achieved the number on the scale they've dreamed of, but they've traded a body they disliked for a face they don't recognize. This can trigger a new, more insidious form of body dysmorphia. Before, their dissatisfaction was with their size. Now it's with their very identity. They receive compliments on their weight loss from people who don't look close enough to see the exhaustion in their eyes, or the loose skin under their chin. Each compliment feels like a lie, reinforcing the disconnect between how the world sees them and the unsettling reality they see in the mirror. They feel like a ghost haunting the body of a thinner person. They won the battle against fat, but they feel like they're losing the war for their own self-image, trapped in a new kind of prison, one where the bars are made of sagging skin and the face of a stranger. This internal disconnect inevitably spills out into their social lives, reshaping relationships in ways they never anticipated. So much of human connection is built around shared rituals, and for many those rituals revolve around food and drink. The friend you always met for brunch, the coworkers you got happy hour drinks with, the family gatherings centered around massive meals. Suddenly, you're an outsider at your own life's events. It's not that you're judging them. It's that you're operating on a completely different frequency. While they debate appetizers, you feel nothing. While they order another round, the thought of alcohol is actively repulsive. A woman on a Reddit forum shared a heartbreaking story about her husband, a gourmet cook who had always shown his love through food. Now, his elaborate, beautiful meals felt like a burden to her, and his passion felt like pressure. Her lack of enthusiasm was interpreted as a rejection of him, creating a painful rift in their marriage. Friends can drift away, unsure how to connect with this new version of you that doesn't share in their simple pleasures. You become the person who orders a side salad with no dressing, the person who sips water at a birthday party. You are physically present, but socially and emotionally, you've left the building. The loneliness of being overweight is replaced by a new, more complicated isolation, the loneliness of being misunderstood. All of these threads, the mental silence, the emotional flattening, the physical unfamiliarity, the social disconnection, weave together into a profound identity crisis. For many people, their weight has been a core part of their identity for their entire lives. It dictated the clothes they wore, the activities they avoided, the jokes they made at their own expense. Being the big guy or the curvy girl was a defining characteristic. When that is stripped away, what's left? It's a question that sounds liberating, but in practice it can be terrifying. You've spent decades building a personality, a set of coping mechanisms, and a way of navigating the world, all based on one central fact. When that fact is erased, the entire structure can collapse. People find they have to relearn everything. How to dress, how to date, how to accept a compliment without suspicion, how to take up space in the world without apologizing for it. One man described it as feeling like an awkward teenager again, fumbling through social interactions in a body that didn't quite feel like his own. The drug, in its incredible efficiency, doesn't just remove fat. It removes a fundamental pillar of the self, forcing users to undertake a massive, unplanned, and often unsupported psychological renovation. They have to rebuild their identity from the studs up, and many are finding that they have no idea what the new blueprint is supposed to look like. The goal was to lose weight, but many are realizing they are also losing a part of themselves in the process, and they're not sure if it's a part they can or even want to live without. This question of identity is perhaps the most profound and least discussed aspect of the GLP-1 revolution, because when the food noise goes silent, what's left in its place? For some, it's a beautiful, liberating quiet, a newfound mental clarity, but for others, the silence is deafening. Imagine your favorite song, the one that gives you goosebumps every single time. Now imagine one day you play it and you feel nothing. The melody is still there, the notes are correct, but the magic is gone. This is how many users describe their new relationship with food. It's not that they can't eat their favorite pizza or a piece of birthday cake. It's that they don't want to. The desire, the anticipation, the deep, satisfying pleasure that was once a cornerstone of their emotional life has been surgically removed. One user on Reddit described it with haunting clarity. She wrote, "I went to my family's Thanksgiving. My aunt made her famous mac and cheese. For 30 years, that dish has been my definition of comfort. I dream about it for weeks. This year I took a spoonful and it was just noodles and cheese. It was fuel. I felt like I was a tourist in my own life, watching a celebration through a pane of glass." This experience is echoed thousands of times across forums and social media. The social rituals we've built around consumption are suddenly thrown into chaos. Going out for drinks with friends loses its appeal when you feel full after 2 sips of a light beer. Date nights at a fancy restaurant become a source of anxiety, not connection. You become the person who orders a side salad while everyone else enjoys a feast, not because you're dieting in the traditional sense, but because your body and brain are sending a powerful, unignorable signal. We're done here. This creates a strange sort of social isolation. You're physically present, but you're not participating in the shared language of indulgence and celebration that binds so many groups together. And this forces a difficult internal reckoning. If you're no longer the foodie friend who knows the best new restaurants, or the baker who brings joy to the office with homemade cookies, or the dad who grills the perfect steak at the family barbecue, then who are you? It's a complete tearing down of a long-held identity, with no clear instructions on how to build a new one. This loss of pleasure, known as anhedonia, is a reported side effect that researchers are now taking very seriously. While for some it's confined to food, others report a more generalized flattening of their emotional world. The excitement for a vacation feels muted. The thrill of a new project at work doesn't hit the same way. It's as if the volume dial on their entire reward system has been turned down. The theory is that since GLP-1 agonists work on dopamine pathways in the brain, the very pathways that govern motivation, pleasure, and reward, it's possible that in dialing down the reward from food, it may also dampen the reward from other activities. This isn't the case for everyone, not by a long shot, but for those it affects, it's a devastating trade-off. They have a new body, but they feel like a ghost is living inside it. But this is not where the story ends, because humans are, if nothing else, incredibly adaptable. Out of this disorienting void, many users are forging entirely new identities, discovering passions they never had the time, energy, or physical ability to explore before. The foodie is becoming a hiker, finally able to tackle trails that were once impossible, finding a new kind of dopamine hit at the summit of a mountain. The comfort baker is channeling that creative energy into painting or pottery, or learning the guitar, activities that nourish the soul instead of the body. The social landscape shifts as well. Instead of "let's grab dinner," invitations become "let's go for a walk," or "let's check out that new museum exhibit." The focus of social interaction moves from consumption to shared experience. People are discovering that the connection they thought was forged over a shared plate of nachos was actually about the laughter, the conversation, the time spent together. The food was just the excuse. And when you remove the excuse, you're left with the raw, real substance of the relationship. For many, this has been a surprising and beautiful revelation. This journey forces a level of self-inquiry that most people never have to undertake. You have to consciously decide what brings you joy. You can no longer rely on the easy, accessible pleasure of a candy bar or a bag of chips. You have to actively seek out and cultivate new sources of happiness. It's a manual override of your entire operating system. And for some, that is the most empowering part of the process. They're not just losing weight, they're curating a new life, one built on intention rather than impulse. Of course, there is the other side of the coin, the people who decide the price is too high. They reach their goal weight, look in the mirror, and feel a profound sense of alienation. They miss the simple, uncomplicated joy of a great meal. They miss the way food connected them to their culture, their family, their own past. And so, they make the difficult decision to stop the medication. They choose to invite the noise back in, hoping they can use the lessons they've learned to live with it in a healthier way. This is a valid and courageous choice, but it comes with its own set of fears. Will the weight come roaring back? Did I go through all of this for nothing? This leads us to the biggest, most unsettling question of all. What is the end game? These medications were designed to treat a chronic condition, obesity, and the prevailing medical wisdom is that, like medication for high blood pressure or diabetes, they may need to be taken for life. We are a society that loves a quick fix, a transformation story with a clear before and after. But Wegovy isn't a 12-week program. It represents a potential lifetime subscription to a new way of being. We are the first generation to navigate this new reality, and we are doing it in real time, with no long-term studies to guide us. What does it mean for a person to have their appetite and reward system pharmacologically managed for 20, 30, or 50 years? What are the downstream effects on our bodies, our minds, and our society? We are at the dawn of a new era. The conversation is shifting from how to lose weight to what does it mean to live in a world where we can turn hunger off? Wegovy and its counterparts are not just drugs. They are cultural and philosophical bombshells. They challenge our deepest held beliefs about willpower, self-control, and personal responsibility. They force us to confront the biological and genetic realities of weight in a way that is deeply uncomfortable for many. Ultimately, the real user reviews reveal a truth far more complex than a simple "it worked" or "it didn't." They are stories of transformation but also of loss, of liberation but also of limitation, of rediscovering a body, and in some cases losing a piece of a soul. The decision to embark on this journey is not just a medical one. It is a deeply personal one, with trade-offs that go far beyond the number on a scale. The real question that anyone considering this path must ask themselves is not just, do I want to be thinner? It is, who do I want to become? And what am I willing to change forever to get there? The answer will be different for everyone, and it's an answer that can only be found by looking far beyond the before and after pictures, and into the quiet, uncharted territory of the self.